Welcome to Wildbook. In this video, I'll explain some Wildbook terminology that is key to understanding how the system manages your data. This will help you to prepare your data in advance of uploading it in a way that enables you to take full advantage of all the system's features and functionality. Note that the content here is all terrestrial species, but the concepts are applicable across both land and marine-based species. A quick note, if you're a citizen scientist, you don't need to learn this. The information in this video is intended to assist academic researchers and conservationists in using the Wildbook system to its fullest potential. Okay, so here are the key terms: encounter, sighting, occurrence, and image analysis, or IA. First, what is an encounter? Well, here we have a photo with two cheetahs in it. Now, if I told you that Peanut is one of the cheetahs in the photo, your first question would likely be, which one is Peanut? Before Wildbook, in order to put Peanut's photo into Peanut's ID kit, you would have had to cut the photo into two photos, one for Peanut and one for the other cheetah. This way, each individual's photo could be added to their own ID kit without confusion. In Wildbook, the AI does this for you. An algorithm called the detector finds each animal in each photo and puts a box around each one. The box is called a bounding box or annotation. Since the date, time, and location of this photo is the same for both animals, that metadata is duplicated in each encounter record. Additionally, in Peanut's encounter record, the ID, which is also considered metadata, is included. Once the other cheetah is identified, his ID will be assigned to his encounter record. So to summarize, an encounter record is the annotation, that is the animal inside the bounding box, plus the relevant metadata. And here's a screenshot of the top part of a Wildbook encounter record. Here's Peanut's formal ID, which is NACH0069_CCF. This is a Cheetah Conservation Fund photograph. And that, as you can see, is shown at the top of the encounter record. You can also see the photo's metadata, the location information, and date and time. The photo in the gallery is the original, showing both individuals. So how do I know which one is Peanut, or in this case, Cheetah 69? Wildbook denotes the subject of the encounter record with a green dotted line box. So here, Peanut is the cheetah on the left. And you'll see that the cheetah on the right has a slightly paler yellow dotted line box. If I wanted to access the other cheetah's encounter record, I could hover over that annotation in the image, and you can see the information about that encounter pops up below. There's also a reverse blue arrow here that when I click on it in the system, will open the other cheetah's encounter record, Cheetah 70s. This is how Wildbook gets the individual in each photo, along with all relevant metadata, into the individual's ID kit, encounter by encounter. Next, sighting and occurrence. What is it? Well, first good news is a sighting is an occurrence and vice versa. They're the same thing. But what is that? A sighting is one or more animals seen at more or less the same time in more or less the same place. The reason I say more or less is really more applicable with tourist sightings like this one rather than camera trap sightings. Let me explain. A tourist photographed these two cheetahs. The tourist could have taken 100 or maybe 1,000 photographs of them at that point. The tourist may have witnessed them hunting earlier and followed them, may have spent a couple of hours following these cheetahs and eventually landing here with them at this termite mound. So the sighting or occurrence took place over a range of time, several hours, and over a range of geographical space. And that's why a sighting or occurrence can take place at more or less the same time and more or less the same place. It is effectively one continuous sighting event with the same animal or animals. Camera traps can also produce sightings, But these tend to be much shorter in time span than a tourist sighting and are exactly one location only, which is the location of that particular camera trap. So what's the value of the concept of a sighting or occurrence in Wildbook? Let's take this lovely leopard sighting as an example. Here, this leopard kindly showed the camera trap all angles of his body. Terrific. Keeping all these photos together in a sighting or single sighting event in Wildbook, like you might put them in a single folder on your desktop, means that knowing there was only one leopard at the sighting, we now have a full slate of all viewpoints of this animal and can assign the same ID to all of them. And so that later, when I get less great pictures of the same leopard, like these ones, they will now also find matches in the database to the same leopard. You end up with a much broader and richer ID kit than ever before. Here's another leopard camera trap sighting. In this sighting, we see a leopard walk right in front of a single camera, and she turns around and we get just the right side of her head in the photo, and then she wanders off into the grass, giving us a photo of her hind end. And then this little guy showed up. It's not the same leopard, but given that he appeared in a photo just seconds after the first leopard, and then followed the same first leopard's path into the distance, the owner of this sighting data deemed that these two leopards were together, and that the images from this event at this camera trap station should be considered one sighting event or occurrence and kept together in the system. What that does, once both leopards are given an ID, is that the system will automatically record that they co-occurred with each other at that time in that place. So to be clear, they don't have to be in the same photograph together, just in the same sighting or occurrence, for the system to recognize that they co-occurred with each other at that same place, at that same time. And here's what that looks like. Here's the lovely Cedric's ID kit in Wildbook. You can see in the table with the list of encounters assigned to her that she co-occurred with Leopard 104 several times in 2016. Leopard 104's ID kit will show the inverse, co-occurrences with Cedric at those same dates. Now, the next key terms I'd like to explain are under the category of image analysis, or IA. Image analysis is the category under which sits all of the machine learning computer vision algorithms used in Wildbook. The first of these is detection. For those of you who are deeply into AI, this will mean more to you than the rest of us. But detection is actually a series of algorithms. And the first thing that they do is, as I mentioned earlier, they find animals in photographs and put a bounding box or annotation around each of them. Then they add the viewpoints being left or right sides, and that helps with matching. That enables the system to only match left or left similar viewpoints to other left and left similar viewpoints. So the system isn't trying to match a right side to a left side. Optionally, depending on the Wildbook, depending on the species, the system's detection algorithms will also do background subtraction, which is what it sounds like, masking out as much of the background of the image as possible so that all that is being matched by the algorithms is the animal, not the background, which is really useful in camera trap imagery. Also, in a very complicated way, the system is able, in some instances with certain species, to do part annotations. That is, the animal's body may be annotated, and some other body part may also be annotated. So in the case of lions, we annotate both body and head, and in a super cute way, wild dog bodies and wild dog tails. And that leads to the need for another algorithm to figure out which head belongs to which body and which tail belongs to which body, which is complicated. The next series of algorithms image analysis category is called identification. And these are a series of algorithms used to compare animals in photographs. In ACW, Whisker Book, and Wild North, we have the following algorithms. Marine species have additional and different algorithms. In our case, we have the oldest and most long-lived hotspotter. We also have Pi version 2, which stands for pose invariant embeddings. And the latest and greatest, I think, of all of these algorithms is MuID. Lastly, this table here shows which algorithms are being applied to which species, not all, but just a sampling. You'll notice that in some cases, like lions and leopards and hyenas, more than one ID algorithm is being used. The reason for that is that each algorithm analyzes the photos so differently that using multiple algorithms for a single species enhances the system's overall ability to find potential matches in the database. For other species, like cheetahs, the performance of a single algorithm is so strong that the benefits of adding additional algorithms are really negligible. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was useful.